Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, yes. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Everett Cultural Arts Commission, welcome to the 2024 Wendt and Mayor's Arts Awards. Yes! Woo! I am Aaron Alonzo, the co-chair of the Everett Cultural Arts Commission for the City of Everett. On behalf of the Everett Cultural Arts Commission, I am thrilled and honored to be here tonight to MC this year's awards celebration. Before we welcome Mayor Cassie Franklin up to start the show, I want to set the stage for what to expect tonight. First, a brief history of some amazing people, the vanguards of this entire event and festivities, the Wendt family. We call this evening's event the Wendts, and sometimes we get asked by folks why we call it that. The event is named in honor of Dr. Richard Wendt and his wife Nancy, both of whom were huge supporters of the arts here in Everett. And there's a good chance that Dr. Wendt probably worked on some of your teeth back in the day. He was an orthodontist in town, so if that name rings a bell, that's probably why. In 1974, Richard chaired the committee that established Everett's Cultural Arts Commission and the city's 1% for the Arts Fund. Richard passed away in 2007. His wife Nancy passed in 2021, and both are honored through the Richard and Nancy Wendt Award of Excellence. We would like to recognize and thank Richard and Nancy's daughters and family members for continuing their support of the arts in Everett. Please give their family a big round of applause. In addition to the Richard and Nancy Wendt Award, we also will celebrate tonight 4 other amazing people and organizations this evening with the esteemed Mayor's Arts Awards. The Mayor's Arts Award recognizes the many ways a vibrant arts community is created and sustained. Each year, Mayor Franklin, with help from the Cultural Arts Commission, gives out the Mayor's Arts Awards to people or organizations that have made Everett a better place through their creative efforts, vision, and patronage. Tonight, we honor 4 individuals and organizations with the Mayor's Arts Awards: Bunker Arts Collective, Christopher Gove of Teen Storytellers Project, Huong Viet Performing Arts Group, and Leland Dart. And throughout the night, you'll get to learn more about this year's recipients. Also, throughout the show, because this is a show after all, to celebrate the arts, we have a selection of performances from Making Waves, woohoo, yay, a youth project for musicians at Our Savior's Lutheran Church, a film by Teen Storytellers Project, Mayor's Arts Award winner, the Huong Viet Performing Arts Group, poetry by Duane Kirby Jensen, and a performance by the Dance School. Please give tonight's recipients and performances a round of applause. And before I close and turn things over to the mayor, I want to say a few thank yous. First, I want to thank city staff members Kari Kwas and Pipa Escalante for their work in producing tonight's event and the videos you will see throughout the night. I want to thank the staff and crew at Village Theater. These are my home dogs because I used to work here at Village, so yay, shout out to all of you. Thank you to the crew here at Village for all of their work in making tonight's production a reality. There are real live tradespeople working in the booths, backstage, running the soundboard, pressing the space bar to run the videos, flying curtains in and out, the works. These individuals all work behind the scenes to make theater magic every single day, and we thank them for sharing their magic and their work with our arts community tonight. Thank you to Rosemary Jones for her work in creating the branding artwork for the Wendt Awards. It's very pretty, isn't it? Thank you also to Rich Langley for his work creating the beautiful glass sculptures that we will be presenting to tonight's awardees. Thank you to Georgia Gerber for her work creating the beautiful bronze sculpture for our Wendt Award recipients. And also thank you to the, let me try that again, wow. Thank you to all of our volunteer members of the Cultural Arts Commission. If you are a Cultural Arts Commissioner out in the audience, could you please stand? I know it's kind of hard to see everyone, but please stand and be recognized. Give everyone a round of applause. And lastly, I'd like to, second to lastly, I'd like to thank all of you in the audience for supporting arts and culture here in the city of Everett. The arts are integral to the cultural vitality of our city and our region because it captures the slices of life, the middle of moments, and gives us new ways to look at the world. Thank you to all of you for contributing to the fabric of Everett in some way, shape, or form. And if you know someone deserving of one of these honors, nominate them next year, please and thank you, okay? Yes, yes. Last but not least, I do want to also thank Mayor Cassie Franklin, who has been a dedicated champion of the arts here in Everett. Thank you, Mayor Franklin. In her tenure, she has maintained the arts as a critical part of her plan to protect and advance the quality of life for all of us here in Everett. And as an Everett resident and artiste, I am grateful that our municipal government continues to carry the torch continues to carry the torch lit by Dr. Richard Wendt in support of the arts for more than 50 years. So without further ado, you're done with me. You don't want to hear me talk anymore. Let's get the show on the road. So please give it up for the arts here in the city of Everett, and please welcome Mayor Cassie Franklin.
Good evening. Okay, that was awesome. Love you, Erin. You are amazing. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. Thank you all for being here to celebrate local art and support our fabulous local artists. Before I begin, I want to thank a few people. First and foremost, again, the Wendt family. We are celebrating more than 50 years of the arts here in Everett, and there is no way we would be here if it weren't for the Wendts. The mark left by Richard and Nancy Wendt will be remembered forever, and I know they are deeply missed. I want to acknowledge their daughters, Anne, Lauren, and Lisa. Thank you for carrying on the tradition that your wonderful parents started. I also want to express my appreciation for the dedicated and hardworking volunteers of our Cultural Arts Commission. Thank you for sharing your passion and support of the arts with us. And I also want to thank our city council members. I know many of you are here in the audience this evening. Thank you for your strong support of the arts as well. And last but not least, I want to express my gratitude to the Village Theater for hosting us this evening. As mayor, I'm honored to be here tonight to recognize the enriched cultural beauty and diversity throughout our city through our murals, statues, and the incredible work of our local artists. Arts and culture are woven into our city's identity and our long-term vision for ensuring the best possible quality of life while also supporting our economic growth, community pride, and vibrant public spaces. We are home to incredible venues like the historic Everett Theater, the Village Theater, the Everett Performing Arts Center, and we have strong creative institutions like the Shack Art Center, as well as Apex Everett, a growing hub for food, music, and the renowned urban art. And as much as we are here to honor this year's awardees, we're also celebrating and supporting our entire creative ecosystem, from local galleries to choirs, soloists, and youth performers, plus family favorites like our Imagine Children's Museum. Signature events like Sorticulture, Fresh Paint, and Nubian Jam are more than festivals to Everett. They are reflections of who we are as a community and the future we are building. This is Everett at its best, creative, inclusive, and bold. Looking ahead, Everett is doubling down on its creative spirit with new projects and partnerships that bring art into our neighborhoods and onto our streets. From Casino Road to Evergreen Way, 10 new art-wrapped utility boxes will transform everyday corners into colorful, community-centered spaces. Crosswalk art in the downtown core will reflect the vibrancy and vision of our local art scene and make our public spaces more engaging and reflective of who we are. And with the help of council dedicated recovery funds from Councilmember Toohey, we're excited to offer some new cultural arts grants this spring. We're also taking, yes, that deserves an applause, come on. We're also taking strategic steps to establish Everett as a state-recognized creative district, bringing together local artists and invested residents to begin this important work. This designation will give us access to powerful new tools to promote the arts and our thriving creative economy. In Everett, we know that creativity is everywhere, in our galleries, our schools, on our street corners, and in our industries. And through our work as a city and with our partners, we're working to uplift the voices and visionaries who make the city shine and build a brighter tomorrow for all of us. Thank you. Before I wrap up, I also want to take this brief moment to personally congratulate this year's awardees. Our Richard and Nancy Wendt Award of Excellence recipient, former Councilmember Brenda Stonecipher, our Mayor's Art Awardee honorees, Bunker Arts Collective, Christopher Gove, Huong Viet Performing Arts Group, and Leland Dart. I'd also like to take a brief moment to recognize an individual and a group as honorable mentions for 2024. First, Keith Corning. He's out on spring break this week and unable to join us, but he's an amazing man responsible for sound and stage managing at the Everett Civic Auditorium. Keith cares for young orchestras, bands, choirs, jazz ensembles, drama productions, and is always willing to go the extra mile with microphones and sound engineering to make Everett students sound their best. Please join me in thanking Keith for his dedication and community support over the last 20 plus years. Next, I'd like to ask Megan Nachreiner, Board of Director Presidents, on behalf of the dance school, to please join me on stage. There you are. I can't see, so. All right. The Dance School is a local dance production company built on the legacy of Betty Spooner and her son, Mike Jordan. They are a prime example of how to equitably instill a love of dance to people of all ages, ability levels, race, and gender identity. They welcome people from all backgrounds to find what moves them, literally. Their commitment to inclusion is an inspiration and creates a culture of welcoming and engagement to all who participate. Everett is so lucky to have the dance school here in our own backyard, and I just want to thank Megan. Again, thank you to all of our makers, creators, educators, and art advocates here. You are what make Everett art community so vibrant and so wonderful. Please give yourself a huge round of applause, and congratulations to all our awardees. Thank you, and enjoy the show this evening.
Bunker Arts Collective is a community service nonprofit organization where we organize trash cleanups, we paint murals for small independently owned businesses, community organizations, and schools in the area. It's all for free. That's really the big gist of what we do. We steward our community through trash cleanups, and then we try to preserve and beautify our community through public art. I felt it was really important to highlight local artists. I think a lot of the murals that can be commissioned here throughout the city are beautiful, but I think the difference that I was hoping to establish was that if we're not stewarding our local artists, how are we going to create a more viable economy for creative artists here in Snohomish County? I'm hoping that by investing in our local artists that they will ideally receive paid opportunities by local businesses, which will then give them that leverage and negotiations to make themselves strong in this market. I'm hoping that this can be an incubator that will get them noticed by folks who can afford large-scale commissions.
I was able to connect with Bunker Arts Collective through my sister, actually, who used to work with Evan a long time ago. And so through Instagram, I saw that they were looking for local artists, and so I took a chance and applied, and luckily was selected for one. And so the mural I got to make was a large-scale picture of some sunflowers and other flowers, and it was placed at Cascade Elementary School up in Marysville. And I was really honored that it got to go to a school because as an educator myself, I can see the importance of having art in learning environments and in the building at school, and just how much it encourages student creativity. So I was really excited that it got to go there because that's kind of where my passion lies as well. So it was a great combination of that. And so in my work, I often like to focus on nature and its bold, bright colors, and so we took a focus on that. But I really appreciate Bunker Arts Collective for taking a chance on artists who don't have as much experience. So with this mural, I have done 3 now, but it was really amazing that they were able to give me this opportunity, even though I don't have like the portfolio they would maybe look for normally. But yeah, I was really appreciative, and I'm super excited he's getting this award.
I had the enormous privilege of, throughout high school, doing choir, theater, student government, and even yearbook in middle school. All of those opportunities that I had to go to the choir concerts, go on choir tour, be able to perform in musical theater productions, gave me a purpose to want to be in the arts and culture sector professionally. What I didn't realize was how little money these arts organizations actually pull in. When the losing football team of our high school received $200,000 for upgrade their field or whatever, what the administration at the time was saying was, well, we need to slash the theater program, the choir program, the ceramics program, the woodworking program, all of the arts programming they were trying to slash to justify their $200,000 investment into the losing football program. So that created this fire within me to start the GoFundMes, to get families on board with our vision. And yeah, my mentality has totally shifted from scorched earth to trying to be a collective and a mediator to get us to all see a common vision. That's ultimately where my love for the arts and culture sector came from. I was doing musical theater my whole life, from about 6 years old all the way up into my college career, and being in that spotlight is really fun, but what I find more rewarding is being able to try to advocate for the organization and the community that we do serve.
You know, small businesses in this state are facing a tremendous amount of headwind, the pressures from the pandemic and a confluence of a lot of other things. I think Everett is a very business-friendly community. That's one of the things I love about Everett. But small businesses need all the help that they can get. And Evan and his volunteers helping keep the property and the nearby kind of public spaces looking really nice provides tremendous value to businesses in Everett.
Ultimately though, what I've realized and why I want to be in Everett long term is I have gotten to know the whole community beyond just downtown Everett. I've seen North Everett, which is very beautiful, very affluent in many cases. And I've seen South Everett that I feel does not have a proper gathering spot. And that's something that I wanted to work on. The main catalyst for this nonprofit is kind of a love letter to all of Everett, all of Snohomish County. But as I've grown an affinity for South Everett now, I really want to get something going in South Everett. That could be more murals, could be more trash cleanups, it could be a brick and mortar community arts center at some point down the line. We're working towards those things. As we're only a year old, I think the sky's the limit. And we're really excited to keep it growing and expanding throughout other cities here in Snohomish County. But I'm grounded here in Everett for the time being. I enjoy the people I've met here, the businesses I've been able to form a relationship with, and try to figure out how we can make Everett a beautiful place to live.
Sorry, they did say explicitly to go up on, I guess, stage right, and I didn't do that. So, oops, I apologize. I'm going to put it down for just a moment. Okay. They gave us a 5-minute deadline. Technically, that's what you guys said, okay? I'm gonna stick to it as much as I can here. Thank you so much for this incredible honor. My name is Evan Reed, and I'm the founder of Bunker Arts Collective, and I love the city of Everett. In 2022, I moved here with my car and my cat for a job opportunity that ultimately didn't work out, but it was because of that job I met Mackenzie Colby and Jen McGarvey, our 2 founding board members that have volunteered their time to shape the nonprofit into what you see today, and happen to take me under their wings as friends now. Thank you to Everett City staff, the Cultural Arts Commission, Mayor Franklin for this honor. I want to thank my folks back in Santa Clarita, my sister in Missouri, and all my friends and mentors scattered across the country between San Luis Obispo, California, Stafford County, Kansas, Orlando, Florida, and right here in Everett, Brady, Solstice, Keith, Carly, all those folks who have helped me get to this point. I'm sorry our CEO, Root Beer the cat, our cat executive officer, couldn't be here today. She insisted on finishing the last episode of White Lotus. But above all, I want to thank our volunteers. Without our volunteers, we would not have been able to remove 10 tons of litter or commission 7 free murals in 2024. Yeah. All 7 of our murals included modest stipends and were commissioned by new and emerging local artists that were donated to local small businesses, community organizations, and schools that would not have been able to afford it otherwise, while elevating the homegrown talents of our own creative economy. Simply put, our volunteers rule. Special shout outs to Skylar, Haley, Greg, John, Steve, Peter, and Nina, who have consistently showed up to our volunteer opportunities since day one. They are the reason I get out of bed every Sunday, rain or shine. We have a trash cleanup on Airport Road this Sunday, by the way, at 9 a.m. You're more than welcome to join us. In 2025, we will double our efforts across the city of Everett. This will include 20 tons of litter removed across 50 different cleanup sites, up to 15 paid mural opportunities commissioned by new and emerging local artists that will then be donated to 15 local small businesses, local community organizations, and local K-12 schools right here in the city of Everett. This is not just to improve the quality of life to the folks that call this city home, but to invest in the next generation of local artists for years to come. We are so committed to this vision that by 2027, we will be opening a brick and mortar community arts center in South Everett with the intent to expand our services across all of Snohomish County. This physical space would serve as the namesake of our nonprofit, The Bunker, a safe haven for new, emerging, aspiring, young or old makers to hone their craft in every possible medium of the arts and culture sector we could possibly fit inside of a building. But buildings can also be unintentionally restrictive. That's why by 2027, we will also be expanding our vehicle fleet from 1 vehicle to 4. 2 vans that are always dedicated to trash cleanups year-round, 2 vans that are always dedicated to our Art in the Park program, which would bring free arts and culture opportunities across Everett public parks to families no matter where they live, without cost or transportation ever becoming a barrier to their access to the arts. Thank you. I'm here to stay in Everett, we're here to stay in Everett, and we would love for you to join our vision. You can sign up for volunteer opportunities on our website at bunkerartscollective.org. We have an Instagram. I post a bunch of cat memes with my cat. And at the end of the day, we really are just trying to make the city of Everett just more vibrant, more clean, and just more enjoyable to live here. And I feel like investing in the arts in this capacity is it's a win-win for everybody. So thank you again for this enormous honor, and thank you for your time.
Making Waves, a youth engagement project at Our Savior's Lutheran Church in Everett, started in 2022. It provided middle school youth with resources and instruction to build confidence in musical expression. The project has since branched into a high school music program where experienced musicians can gain exposure to various instruments and performance areas. Our Saviors has been blessed with the involvement of some exceptionally talented high school musicians, all of whom play multiple instruments with excellence. And I can confirm during sound check, they sound amazing. So here to perform Ike and Tina Turner's classic version of Proud Mary, on drums and vocals is the director of Making Waves, Dane Newland. On bass, Keith Larson. On piano, Karin Larson. On keyboard, Ben Fisher. On vocals, Phoenix Larson and Dominic Del Rosario. On trombone, Emmett Bell. On trumpet, William Choi. On tuba, Holden Krukanis. And electric guitar, Christian Choi. Enjoy, everyone.
I left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. But I never lost a minute of sleep, and I was worrying about the way that things might have been. Big wheel keep on turning, and the Proud Mary keep on burning, and we're rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. I cleaned a lot of plates in Memphis, pumped a lot of tame down in New Orleans. never saw the good side of the city till I hitched a ride on the riverboat queen. Big wheel keep on turning, and the proud Mary keep on burning, and we're rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Now I left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. I never lost 1 minute of sleeping, worry about the way that things might have been. If we'll keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. I said rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Now I cleaned a lot of plates in Memphis, pumped a lot of tape on in New Orleans. I never saw the good side of the city till I hitched a ride on the riverboat queen. Big wheel keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. If you come down to the river, I bet you're gonna find some people who live. You don't have to worry if they got no money. People on the river are happy to give. Big wheel keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning, and we're rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river.
Teen Storytellers Project is a place where students can come and learn technical skills related to storytelling, primarily digital storytelling, filmmaking. We do a little bit of photography and digital music creation as well. But underneath that, it is a place where students can come and feel welcome, feel accepted, feel encouraged, and develop the skills that are going to help them in life.
I've known that I've wanted to become a filmmaker since I'd say about 8th grade, and I started TSP in 9th grade, and I've really just been looking for a way to break into any kind of way to make film, and my mom just saw the flyer when I started Camiac, and she was like, "Does this sound cool?" And I'm like, "Yes! Yes! It definitely does." Doing just the first project that I did, it really sealed the deal, and the more that I do, I'm just I can't wait to go to film school.
So the origin story of Teen Storytellers Project is, it was born out of involvement at a teen drop-in center that my church was running at the time. What we were seeing was a lot of the kids that were coming through our doors were the kids that didn't have some place to spend time. They didn't have some place they belonged after school. Through lots of conversations, just talking with some of these kids, we got a good sense of, okay, a lot of these kids are the more tactile learners, the more hands-on learners. Were kind of what we were seeing with a lot of these kids, and as a result, we thought, well, what if we were able to offer the students something that could be a way, a skill set that they could be learning, but it would also be something that by learning and becoming good at something, it would be a way to improve their self-esteem, improve their own estimation of their self-worth. The hard side of the skill set we do in filmmaking is a lot of technology, working with computers, working with cameras, lights, marketing. There's all kinds of things that are skills that you learn, but there's a lot of soft skills because filmmaking is such a collaborative art form. To do it on your own is very challenging or extremely time consuming. So to actually produce something in a reasonable amount of time of a certain quality, you really need to learn, you need to work as a team, and so you need to learn how to work as a team.
I've never been in another group that I felt so seen and like so involved, like you guys were saying, is you feel so involved because they're like, you know what, even though you've never directed before, you want to be the director, we're going to help you be the director. And I'm like, no way, so I can actually direct a film, like really? And they let you do it, and they help you make just the coolest projects that you're like, yeah, I made that, I worked on that.
He has a heart for this, and I think the fact that he loves kids, this is really where I think he flourishes. And because he's having so much fun, the kids are having fun. And I think that's, we always make sure there's an element of humor in everything we do, particularly if they're facing a problem. You know, yeah, this is tough, but we're all going to band together, figure out how to fix it. And Christopher's really good at leading that. He really does know how to overcome problems and help the kids see the positive in every situation. So it's been great. He's such, I mean, we couldn't do this without him.
I would want to convey the fun side of filmmaking. I have much better memories of most of the projects I did in college that were just for fun projects, like me and my friends just get together and shoot something. What I want my students to take away is that just have fun and try things is some of the best stuff, because you're going to learn the most from that. If something works because you were able to try something that was kind of pushing the boat out on an idea and it worked, that's awesome. And you can learn from that. But if you push the boat out and it doesn't work, you can learn a lot from that too.
You are taking home the ability to work with others and work with new people that sometimes you've never met.
Leadership, taking charge, but mainly communication with others, you know? And you also get to connect with people too, you know?
Teamwork and like problem solving. There's like so much problem solving. And I think also like time management.
To see students come in and then go out after spending time with us and having gained something that's going to benefit them in the future. Like I said, whether that's a student who wants to be the next Steven Spielberg or a student who never touches a camera, doesn't do filmmaking again, but something I taught them or something they learned here ends up being something that really helps them in the future. That's success to me.
Right. Thank you, Mayor Franklin and the Cultural Arts Commission. I'm deeply honored to accept this award. Some of you may have heard of the compliment sandwich, maybe, yeah? This is going to be more of a thank you sandwich. I like to remind my students that the director often gets credit for other people's work. Really, this award says a lot more about the other people who have participated in the TSP story than it does about me. I would like you all to join me in recognizing their generosity and contributions. Thank you to all my students for your hard work, passion, and patience with me, especially in the early days as we developed our programs and projects through trial and a lot of error. Thank you to all of our donors who have provided the vast majority of the funds that make our work possible. Through your generosity, every one of our students has been able to participate in our programs free of charge. I also want to thank the public servants who have given us the opportunity to reach some of the most at-risk students in our county, particularly Michael O'Brien at Snohomish County Human Services, and Lee Kellogg and Anna Maria McCleary at Denny Juvenile Justice Center. Thank you for your trust and partnership in bringing resources and hope to kids that need it the most. Thank you to the Ripple Ministries Board for continually volunteering your time and energy to provide the resources that keep TSP running. Our goal at Teen Storytellers Project has always been to create a space for learning, for students to learn technical skills that can lead to fulfilling careers as artists, to learn interpersonal skills that will benefit them wherever they go, and to reinforce their own intrinsic value as people. We formed in response to a need we saw in our community to give teens a place to explore the power of stories and, if need be, reframe their own. I believe that every aspiring artist, and everyone really, needs that one person in their life who will come alongside them, encourage them, challenge them, and believe in them. I consider myself very fortunate to have had those people in my life. It has been my privilege to be able to help build a community that can be those people for the next generation. Since 2019, I have had the honor of working with a wide array of kids in our after-school classes, summer camps, and programs for court-involved youth. In total, over 200 individual students. I hope in the future to have the opportunity to know, or to get to know many, many more. At TSP, we have big dreams and goals. We hope to expand and add to our programs and facilities to offer even more opportunities to youth in our region, and to create new resources for artists in the Everett area. To quote one of our recent collaborators, I believe that the solutions to our community's challenges already lie in our community. We just need to link up the right people. If you would like to hear more about our big ideas or explore ways we can partner together to create a better future for youth and the arts in this community, please get in touch. I would love to start that conversation with you. TSP began as a bit of a family partnership, and I have been very blessed to get to do this work alongside some of mine. To my sister Ashley, who was there on day one, if not for your help, I don't think I would have had the guts to run our first film class. While life has taken you in other directions, your work has built a foundation at TSP that still impacts our students to this day, and I hope for years to come. Thank you. Thank you to my parents, Mike and Carrie, who do the networking, organizing, and fundraising work behind the scenes. If I have had any positive impact on our students, it's thanks to you. Thank you to my wife, Kaylee. You support me in more ways than I can count, and you give me the courage to keep going. Thank you for believing in me. Finally, I give the ultimate thanks to God, the one who works all things together for the good, and to whom the credit for the success of TSP belongs. Thank you all. Congratulations to the other recipients this evening. By the way, there's some pretty talented young filmmakers in the building this evening too. So, let's watch a movie.
Teen Storytellers Project works to equip students with the tools necessary to create a story through the art and science of filmmaking. Empowering students with the knowledge, skills, and equipment to express themselves is a unique and life-changing opportunity. Please enjoy the student-created film called An Original Idea, directed by Gray Lloyd, featured in the video package you just watched, written by Dominic Hatcher-Thomason, and produced by John DeYonker and Mayor's Arts Award recipient Christopher Gove, and starring Bronwyn Belmore, Rob Blasey, and Alex Holmes. Enjoy.
And class dismissed. Hey, Dom, can I talk to you a moment?
Yeah, what's up?
Have you ever heard of the movie Back to the Future?
No, why?
Really? Because your last script was almost an exact copy. You do know that plagiarizing means you automatically fail this class, right?
I haven't plagiarized.
I don't care what your excuses are. I will give you until tomorrow to redo this assignment, but it has to be an original idea. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. Well, that sucked. Now what? I gotta come up with something. I can't fail this class. Alex likes to watch movies a lot. Hey Alex, are you busy?
Not really, man. Why?
Well, I'm trying to come up with a movie for class, and I was wondering if you've seen a sci-fi where they find a ship and an alien life form is trying to attack them.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like Alien by Ridley Scott. Haven't you seen it?
No. Okay, well, what about a movie about resurrecting dinosaurs and...
Like Jurassic Park. You know, the movie about resurrecting dinosaurs, putting them in a theme park.
Okay, scrapping that one. What about a fantasy movie where a couple of farmers have to travel across a country and destroy an ancient artifact?
Is the artifact a ring?
No. Why?
It's just Lord of the Rings, or The Hobbit.
Okay, I'll pivot. What about an orphan who meets an old wizard dude who teaches him magic, and he has to go and stop a big bad evil guy?
And he learns magic at a school with a bunch of other wizards, right?
No, that's a bad idea. No, he's the only one, and it's in space.
Are they fighting an evil dictatorship who rules the galaxy?
Yes.
You just write Star Wars?
What? No!
This is bad. I'm coming over and we're doing a crash course.
Ugh.
Okay, so, does this give you any ideas?
Yeah, no. It just feels impossible to find an original idea. It just feels like everything's been done before. This whole thing just feels like a comedy routine. Wait, that's it. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, no problem.
Not bad. I think this has potential.
Really? So I'm not failing the class?
No. In fact, your final is going to be making this into a short film.
So I could use this as the ending. Can I put this in the script?
I don't see why not.
Cut. Well, great job, everyone. That's a wrap.
Wrap.
Huong Viet Performing Art Group. Huong means to reflect, to look back, and Viet in short for Vietnam. Huong Viet Performing Art Group is a way for us to look back to our own roots and culture. I was born in Saigon, South Vietnam, and I came to America with my mother and my older brother as a refugee. When I first came to America, a lot of my classmates, when they were asked what ethnicity they are, they would reply that they are either Chinese or Korean. And I can relate to that because Vietnam at that time was very poor. Of course, it's embarrassing to mention that you come from a poor country. And so I thought, okay, I need to do something about this. So I formed the Huong Viet Performing Art Group. My goal was to introduce Vietnamese traditional music to my classmates, help them to see that Vietnam also have a beautiful culture with a rich history dating back to thousands of years and a long tradition of Vietnamese traditional music. Currently, my group, we have about 20 members, and that's an average of every year because the students would come when they were like 7, 8 years old, and then they will finish college and leave. But then those who stay with me are usually the elder students. They came to me when they were in the 50s, 60s, and even 70s, 80s. And each of the students come in with a different story. And I appreciate every single one who come to me.
I actually love it, but I cannot learn from it when I'm in Vietnam. You know, life is different. We don't have that much of opportunity to learn. So because like a small town and not everybody teaching at that time. Actually, my daughter learned it from Dr. Hai. When she's in middle school, she loved music. And I have busy with my little boy, so I cannot learn at that time. So, and now my daughter go to college. And then Dr. Hai, he do a kind of like volunteering to teach at the church. So I just so excited to sign up. And then that's where I start to learn it. For me, personally, I just love this beautiful and I love to put myself into it. So.
When I was growing up, I loved music. My parents always make sure that we all learn music. So I learned the violins back when I was really young. I learned how to play drums as well. But I left the country in 1990, came here. I really, really wanted to learn after 10 years. I never get a chance to. And one day my dad, he's really active at the Quiller Church. And he say, oh, do you want to go learn to play Dang Tan again? The first time, I didn't get an opportunity to because the schedule. And then when my daughter is in college and I have a little bit more free time, say, okay, I'm all in. And I love it because I love the group and I love how he cares about us and he takes us to perform in different places.
There was this one instance in which when I was preparing to leave to go to college. And so at that moment, I was about to quit my lessons here. And so I quit for about 2 weeks. And then during those 2 weeks, I had this realization. I was like, this instrument is my life. I'm sorry. So it's become a part of me. So that's why I immediately contacted Dr. Ham. And I was like, I need to come back.
Well, I just love the music because the music to me is take me back home. I growing up, in the South, deep South, and every day I listen to the music from the radio or from the, the neighbor they playing. So to me, that is something bring me back home to my hometown and make me remember all my childhood. Then I just want to keep that feeling.
I have my children here who were born here, but I want them to know, there are so many beautiful sides of our history. So when they take them to the performance and they see the other people dressing up and do the whole group music, and it's more resonate. It's more profound to experience that. And hopefully, listening to Vietnamese music and sing with mommy, with the little song here and there, it's a reminder that you have a heritage, a big background that you can be proud of.
We all play together and we function as a team. So this award is not about me, it's about Huong Viet as a group. and it's about all students. As you see, all my students here today, they are very proud of this achievement because we take pride as a group and we work together as a group.
Ladies and gentlemen, teachers, family, friends, member of the Huong Viet Performing Arts Group, I stand before you today with a heart full of gratitude and pride as I accept the Mayor's Arts Award on behalf of the Huong Viet Performing Arts Group, an honor bestowed by both the Mayor and the City of Everett Cultural Arts Commission. This recognition is a testament to the transformative power of arts to transcend boundaries, connect communities, and preserve our cherished cultural heritage. For those of us in the Vietnamese diaspora, life has been a journey marked by both profound challenges and remarkable triumphs. We left Vietnam, leaving everything behind us, our homeland, our families, our belongings. We arrived in America with empty hands, but heart brimming with hopes, determination, and a steadfast belief in the promise of a better life. And most of all, importantly, we carry with us the rich tradition of Vietnamese music. Our journey began 24 years ago with the founding of the Huong Viet Performing Arts Group. It was born from a desire to promote and preserve Vietnamese traditional music in America in a modest apartment in Everett community housing. While I was still a student at the University of Washington, we took our first step, embarking on a mission to embrace and celebrate our roots. We wanted to help our peers understand that their heritage was something to be proud of, not hidden away. And from those early days, our journey has taken us across the diverse landscape of Washington State, starting from the bustling city of Seattle to the serene beauty of the Olympic Peninsula. We have traveled throughout the United States, starting from the vibrant University of Washington campus to the historic halls of Harvard University in Massachusetts. Our journey led us to New York City, where we participated in the United Nations Multicultural Parade, showcasing our rich culture and heritage on the international stage. We were honored to bring the beauty of Vietnamese traditional music to the prestigious venue of the White House, further solidifying our cultural impact. Our passion has also taken us to distant corners of the world: France, Canada, Italy, Australia, even faraway New Zealand. Along the way, we have shared the beauty and depth of Vietnamese traditional music, touching hearts and building bridges across culture and generation. And yet, among all these activities in the past 24 years, the proudest moment for us is standing right here, where it all began. Yes, the proudest moment for us is to standing right here where it all began to receive the Mayor's Arts Award, chosen both by the mayors and the Everett Cultural Arts Commission. If anyone asks what's so special about Everett, I would proudly answer that Everett is a city of hardworking people with a proud naval base, beautiful waterfront, a vital Boeing factory, and of course, the home of Huong Viet Performing Arts Group.
Yes, of course, and for everything that we accomplished today, we owe a profound debt of gratitude to America, our new homeland. This country welcomed us with open arms, offering us the freedom and opportunity to grow and thrive. America has not only accepted us, but has embraced us, helping us to become who we are today. Here, we are not just individuals. We are a part of a vibrant, diverse tapestry, contributing our unique culture and story to the rich fabric of this great nation. And this award is not just for us. It represents countless individuals who have navigated the complexity of living between different cultures. It's honored the young people like me who have sought to understand and appreciate their heritage, and the communities that have welcomed and supported them all along the way. And to every member of the Huong Viet Performing Arts Group who are here today, whose passion and dedication have brought us to this moment, I am deeply thankful. I'm equally grateful to our families and to the community of Everett for your unwavering support and belief in our mission. I am overwhelmed with gratitude for the path that we have traveled together. This award is a testament to the power of music to heal, unite, and inspire. And as we look ahead, let us continue to share our stories, our music, our hearts. Let us inspire future generations to embrace their heritage with pride and joy, and to contribute to the incredible mosaic that is America. Thank you for this incredible honor. Together, let us keep the spirit of our music alive and vibrant. Thank you.
Tonight, you will see an exciting performance by Mayor's Arts Award recipient, the Huong Viet Performing Arts Group. They are delighted to take you on a journey through the rich tapestry of Vietnamese traditional arts. This performance begins with a poetry chant, a unique and esteemed form of Vietnamese art. This chant requires not only advanced skills in traditional Vietnamese music and mastery of musical instruments, but also the talent to create a new melody for each performance. The chant featured in this performance is inspired by the poem The Conical Leaf Hat, an iconic symbol in South Vietnam. This hat serves multiple purposes, such as it shields individuals from the rain and sun, discreetly covers faces in moments of shyness. I feel like I need that right now. Is respectfully removed and bowed with when greeting elders, is waved in farewell to loved ones, and is used by mothers to fan their children on hot days. The hat beautifully encapsulates various cultural nuances which are also reflected in this chant. Following the poetry chant, thank you. Following the chant, the group presents a folk song titled Fate. This song dates back to the Nguyen Dynasty, a period when Vietnam was expanding southward. King Ton Thai was the first Nguyen king to visit the southern region, and in his honor, South Vietnamese musicians composed Fate, signifying the destiny that brought the king to his people. This performance shares the song with the sentiment that fate has brought the Huong Viet Performing Arts Group to Everett and to this stage tonight, where they can share their passion for Vietnamese traditional music. Tonight's performance also concludes with Song to Call the Whale, a well-known folk tune from southern Vietnam. These artists hope the audience enjoys this cultural journey and appreciates the beauty of Vietnamese music. Now, please welcome the Huong Viet Performing Arts Group.
non lá là qua sen trắng. Ngược nón che đầu tránh nắng mưa. Bình dị khung tre mà lòng chín chắn. Đơn giản non thơm hồn say xưa. Khi thẹn thùng ai tay nghiêng non, khi chào đáp lễ vợ non thưa. Khi biệt lòng ai tay dậy non ru giấc ngủ buổi hè trưa. bóng mây xanh đồi bóng núi, con chim nhàn hát điệu tình quê. Một biển trời như có mẹ cất tiếng ru, trăng nhu lên bên cảng quê hương. Trăng cũng đẹp, đất cũng đẹp, sao đâu đâu cũng đẹp. Trăng lấp lánh lung linh bên nước, đoàn tàu về loang loáng trên sông. Màn trời đêm yên ả thanh bình, đêm bình yên hương lúa ngát ngào. Đêm bình yên nghe sông biển dỗ về.
This is one of my favorite photos. I was taking pictures in Reno, Nevada of old motels and the classic signs and stuff before they started tearing those down. And I look across the street and I see this vision of a woman looking at me wondering what in the heck this guy is doing. And she's so herself. When you ask about what I want to capture when I take photos of people, them as themselves. And to me, this is just exactly who she is, how she is. She's just my favorite picture of a person that I've ever taken is this lady right here. I don't know who she is, but I love her. She's my favorite. In 2010, I was the manager for the Everett Census Office. And we were in charge of counting everybody from the King-Snohomish County line to Canada. But it's a strange thing to try and count every single person in the world. So it was a fun, unique experience. But when it ended, I had all this time on my hand. And at that same time, journalism around the area was taking a big hit. Financially, people were cutting, they weren't covering things. People didn't know what was going on. They weren't sending reporters out. And with the internet, I realized I've done radio for a long time. I know how to write short stories. People want to know why the fire truck was in their neighborhood. I can do that. I can put it on the web, and it won't cost me a fortune. So I started doing that, and I started chasing police cars and fire trucks in Everett, and then rolled forward into covering city council meetings and things of that nature. And it grew into a great niche that I could do on the web without a huge cost. I didn't need a transmitter, I didn't need a printer, I didn't need all that. So that's what got me started doing that in 2011.
Fire incidents attract a lot of people, and there's usually people standing around. But as you attend enough of them, you start to see the same face over and over again. In some cases, that raises an eyebrow, like, why are you here again? But it became pretty clear through his work online that he was there to photograph and document the incidents, and that's how we sort of became acquainted with him and started to develop a relationship that involved some trust.
Typically, if there was an incident or something happening in Everett, Leland would often get there just right after our first responders did, camera in hand and ready to get the information from our team and get it shared out with the community, which is great. With those kind of really hyper-local Everett-specific stories and things that are happening right now, it was really useful to have a partner like Leland to be able to help us tell those stories. Especially when it comes to local news, it's not all about headlines. A lot of it's about connecting our community and helping them get access to information by providing quality local journalism for free.
Well, I think everybody in Everett has seen Everett through Lee's lens by now. When you had My Everett News, for us, that became the go-to. That's where we essentially got all of our news. And the thing that's interesting about Lee is that he knows more about what's going on in Everett than anybody here. I'm convinced of that. Leland's work has impacted basically our ability to be known. We were starting basically from nothing, from a concept in the community, trying to bring in concerts, we're opening a restaurant, that type of thing. And so Lee and his documenting of what we were doing, I feel like really kind of put us on the map.
If Leland would have not been so passionate and living in this community and be passionate about it, I think a lot of people would have missed out on what's happening now, what's happening tomorrow.
Well, Leland, in the beginning, was an amateur photographer. He was just doing what most of us would do, and that was pointing a camera at something and using the program settings and seeing what he came up with. We've kind of watched him grow from really just an amateur with a camera to a photographer with photography skills. And now we see him doing things that are, yes, they're photo documentation, but they're also artistic. And so we're starting to see him, over the last several years, really spread his wings to become a true both professional photographer and an artist.
I just think he has a tremendous eye for photographing people and events.
I really like his portraits. His portraits are lively. They are bringing out the character of the person. They're colorful.
One thing that I really get out of photography that I've really learned, it doesn't matter about the camera that you have. It was really cool that the Firefighters Association got me this great zoom lens, right? But I've taken some amazing pictures with a really lousy cell phone camera. But the picture is what comes through. And that's what I like more is, how's the composition? What is this story being told? What is this thing? It doesn't matter if it's a little out of focus. It doesn't matter if it's grainy. What matters is what story is it telling. That's what I like most about photography.
Well, good evening, and thank you, Mayor Franklin and the City of Everett Cultural Arts Commission for this unexpected and humbling honor. I first began taking photos on a regular basis in 2011 when I started a daily news website called myeverettnews.com. I wanted to have photos to go along with the stories that I posted, and at the time, news organizations, both locally and in the Puget Sound, started really cutting back and not covering things in Everett. But I knew people still wanted to know why those fire trucks or police cars were in their neighborhood. I bought an entry-level camera and began showing up and taking photos. Firefighters at work, cops at work, city council at work, businesses coming to town, businesses leaving town, events like the 4th of July parade or cruising to Colby, activities at Naval Station Everett, or just things that I simply found interesting having been born and raised in Everett. As a self-taught photographer, I wasn't technically great, but I spent a lot of time simply showing up, watching, waiting, taking photos, and looking to frame them so they told the story and I wouldn't have to write 1,000 words. After a couple of years, I bought a better camera, and the Everett Firefighters Association provided me with a zoom lens, which allowed me to improve the quality of my images. Everett Firefighters Local 46 presented me with a bunker jacket and helmet to give me a little more visibility at their scenes and some protection from the elements. I'd use a scanner to hear in real time what was happening with emergency services in Everett and be able to get to a scene quickly, capture photos as activity was happening, and produce a visual record that other news organizations could not match. After a number of years, I opened up an office on Evergreen Way in Central Everett. I covered one of the walls with photos of first responders, game faces on, action shots, serious stuff. I also included happy people enjoying themselves in Everett. I took a lot of photos of bad stuff, and I knew that I needed to balance that with photos of good stuff. If you've ever seen the look of pure joy on the face of a 7-year-old kid on a hot day in the park getting blasted with a stream of water from a fire hose with a firefighter on top of the engine just cracking up, you'll know there's a lot of good in Everett. After the pandemic and more than a decade of doing My Everett News, I decided I wanted to try taking portraits of people. Emergency services and editorial photography was raw and untouched. Portrait photography offered a chance to learn lighting, composition, and editing techniques that were very different than what I was used to. I began working with some amazing creative people who were willing to share their time and their knowledge with me, to experiment, to find out what would work, and sometimes we found out something wasn't going to work at all. I still would like to thank Cassandra, Michaela, Amanda, and Haley, who all helped me learn and grow as a photographer. It wasn't long before the other walls of that studio on Evergreen Way were covered in portraits of amazing humans. In late 2022, I'm old, but not that old. In late 2022, I met John Carswell, who'd purchased the historic building across the street, now known as Apex Everett. As John and his family worked on renovating the building into a collection of different venues that feature art, music, food, and entertainment, John allowed me to build my skills as a photographer and document the building's transformation and the events within. I don't really know about the term allowed, more like tolerated, because I just kept showing up and he's not figured out how to get rid of me yet. After 13 years, I retired from My Everett News and the grind of publishing a daily website. 4,745 days in a row, to be exact. I still appreciate the opportunity of taking photos and providing Everett first responders with moments to remember. I also enjoy taking photos of people in the community and being able to use the dramatic interiors of Apex Everett as a backdrop for client photo shoots. I grew up here, and I remember when there were multiple photo studios in downtown Everett. I also remember the Ian Louis studio in the 70s and 80s out at the Everett Mall with the big wicker chair and the bigger hair. I decided to open a studio in downtown Everett where people could come, have fun getting a photo that they could display in their home or business that would live beyond the selfie sanctuary in their cell phone. At the end of January, Mayor Franklin and members of the Downtown Everett Business Association joined me for the ribbon cutting of my new photo studio at 2520 Colby. It doubles as an office for Seen in Everett, which is a photography website featuring photos of things happening around town. Everett has some amazing photographers, including Sylvia Blau, Steve Winnie, and Kari Kwass. In the future, I hope to showcase their work and others on Seen in Everett. So my advice, show up, be nice, provide value, take the photo, don't worry about the type of equipment you have, repeat, and make a copy for your wall. Thank you.
Duane Kirby Jensen is a painter and a poet. He has exhibited and performed since 1989 throughout the Pacific Northwest at numerous venues. He has been called an outsider artist. He hosts Everett Poetry Night that meets weekly at the Sister Restaurant, as well as Writings on the Wall at the Museum of Northwest Art. So please welcome to the stage poet Duane Kirby Jensen.
Thank you for having me tonight. I just want to say that Vietnamese music is still reverberating through my bones. It was so beautiful. So I have 3 poems to offer. The first one was a poem inspired by Garnering, a 1992 assemblage of Blowing Glass by William Morris that I viewed last July at the Museum of Northwest Art in Lackawanna. Turning the corner, I pause. Stillness envelops me. I am compelled to lay another bone, antler, or skull within this altar. Tusks skyward, my thoughts enter and pass through this sacred arch. I think of the mammoths whose thundering footfalls no longer reverberate through earth. I search my pack and pockets for a bone or antler I no longer possess. I look at each piece of once wild things, feel their spirit beat my pounding heart. I am both statue and running beast. With empty palms outheld, I offer the altar my time. And these next 2 poems found birth during my hikes this past summer. Toad. Your ability to blend into the ochre toned path, becoming a random stone, casting slight shadow, almost led to your personal extinction. Without truly recognizing you, I halted my descending foot, casting a momentary eclipse. If I had transformed you to pulp, ants and flies of various sizes would have swarmed and rejoiced. And I would have been devastated. We share a kinship I cannot explain, a bond I have felt since childhood. You trust in stillness as I edge around you, now nearly motionless. Breathing creates just the faintest tremor of flesh. Blood offering. I hunger for the lonely places on the mountain, these living monuments of solace, renewing me the way spring renews wildflowers beneath a blazing sun attacking a sleet gray sky. If my body makes my final blood offering, crumbling on a trail, a ridge, or in a gulch, allow my body to lay there, undisturbed by human hands. Allow blowflies, beetles, and maggots to dine, tenderizing my limbs and torso for mammals. Allow crow and hawk to devour my sight. Allow me to nourish the soil for seeds yet to germinate. Allow me to become part of the mud that otters belly slide down, splashing gleefully into a quick moving river. Allow my bones to cast shadows, concealing snail, frog, and salamander. Do not gather my remains. Do not lock them away in a cramped, dark casket, hidden from the sun, rain, and wind. Allow wind to hollow out my bones, transforming bone into musical instrument that accompanies the howls of wolves. Allow me to be the silence, surrounded by abundant wildlife, going noisily forward, always forward. Thank you for having me.
The most proud moments I have are when we have been able to come through a lot of turmoil and make the right decision around saving the arts. This Performing Arts Center, the Cope Gillette Theater, and those are proud moments. Getting the Schack Center sited, they seemed at the time insurmountable, and for some people it seemed too expensive, but when you look back on it, it was not insurmountable. It was easy, and the cost has paid off in, multiple times over in the wealth and treasures of our community.
A little later in my childhood, my mom ran for city council, where she would go on to serve for the next 2 decades and do so much for the local art in Everett. And to most, many of my mom's achievements on council may have looked effortless or perfectly orchestrated, but I am lucky to have been privy to the sheer force of will and just relentless effort that my mom imposes on challenges in order to make the world and city around her sparkle. She displays this in every aspect of her life, and I'm really the luckiest son to have someone like that to look up to.
I was on the board of the management company that was managing the theater, this theater before Village Theater came to town. We would put on a series of performances every year, and the finances were simply not working, and we could see that. And so at that time we decided that we would go and chat with our city council members and the mayor and find out if they could give us more money or, help us in some way to make the financial deal here work better. And we met with them and were told, no, there's no money for that. Our contract was up soon, and at that time it was our understanding that the city council was inclined just to close the building and wait and see what happens. Maybe some other user would come use it or something like that. So we got really busy at that time and met with the mayor, Mayor Ed Hansen at the time, and convinced him that the city should hire some consultants that could help figure out what kind of business model would work in this building.
Brenda, I think, was instrumental in having the process be the organized process that allowed this kind of a sort of out-of-the-box solution to occur, because she had been a management consultant. And so she helped find, I think, Arthur Anderson to come in and do the project, and they hired Laney, they brought Laney in to do the evaluation. And after a lot of, they went out with surveys to the audience, and they did a lot of work to arrive at, well, what would be good and what does the audience want? Turns out the audience wanted musical theater, and that's what we do.
Because of my experience here with the Performing Arts Center and my experience with the council members at the time, I realized we didn't have anybody on the council that had, you know, a connection or an acknowledgement of the value of arts and culture. And so I was like, well, maybe we need different representation. It was really, I mean, it was very close to, that council was very close to closing this building down. And so I decided, well, I can do it. So I just ran for council and was there for 20 years. And it was good that I was on council at that time. And of course we had Marion Krell, who was, you know, kind of an original arts patron in our community, and she was on council as well. So this great idea that was brought forward, I think by Laney McMullen, who had this idea. She was working with the Shack board and decided, she was the economic development director for the city. And so they had this idea that they were kind of copying from another community that had built low-income housing with an arts component to it, which was a great idea.
Way back in 1999, we had a feasibility study and that to build our own building. And that study said we needed partnerships, strong partnerships. And so that was one of the first things that we did. We went to the city, talked to the city. We walked away with a partnership with ArtSpace and the city of Everett. And in order to make that happen, we needed to have the city council also believe in this partnership.
They needed space, and one of the identified spaces was a parking garage that the city owned downtown. So they were looking for support from the council to use this parking garage. And that, you know, parking's always a tricky issue on councils, and so a lot of people were like, why would we get rid of parking? It's, you know, it's expensive, but it was pretty underutilized at that time.
Brenda was on board from the get-go and really saw how the arts transforms neighborhoods. And at the time, our block of Hoyt was rough. And so we worked with her on this project. She worked with her other council members. She also worked with the committee on how we could put this whole thing together financially. So she did a lot of it was in the background, but without her help, it may not have happened.
So it was very good collaborative effort, and I think we ended up with full council supporting it in the end.
My mom isn't an actor, nor musician, nor painter, but she is equally as creative and an artist of bringing people together and making things happen and making magic happen.
So when the Key Bank building became available, there was a group of developers downtown that had tried to convince the city that we should buy the property, raise the building, and build a parking garage there. That was the plan, but the building is so unique and kind of a lovely specimen of a building. I think it has historic merit, so the historical commission was kind of weighing in, like that battle was either happening or had just been lost. So people were reeling about the loss of historical buildings in our community. The late Drew Nielsen, who was on the council at the time, and I decided, you know, we need to save this building. How can we get this done? And started working with other council members. And we had, at one point, we had 3 votes, but of course you need 4. We eventually convinced somebody to vote for it, to buy the property. Of course, council members change. New council members came in, and then they did not want to do the project, so they weren't willing to vote for the project. The city owned it, and it, you know, the vision was there, but we were having a hard time getting that vision shared with the new council members, and so it was a lot. There were a lot of hard-fought battles in getting that done.
And that battle was really to have the arts in Everett. The arts were not valued in the way that they, judgment of many of us, need to be. Because I knew that arts were not just valuable in their own right, which they are, but they're also valuable for economic development.
It's a great asset in our community now, and the Kids Stage program just makes it alive at all times. So I just love this whole plaza area.
Village Theater rents the building and puts on the programming there. I think that the park that was done after that has worked really well for the city, and it's just a great gathering place. And it's really fun, especially when there's 2 performances, one in each space. It's very active here.
Art is essential in a city for so many reasons. Obviously, it's fun to drive around and see it ourselves, and we enjoy the same experience that I get in my home when I look at a piece of art. But we also know from facts and statistics that cities that have art have a higher level of economic development. It's also vital for people who live here. You know, you see people out walking their pets around, and I've seen people sit, you know, kind of giving the Mike Jordan statue a hug. So you just see that people are interacting with that art. So we just have to have it. It's important, and cities that invest in it are, you know, better in the long run.
I was going to introduce you. Please welcome to the stage Laney McMullen.
In 1970, Alexander Solzhenitsyn won the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature. His acceptance speech, however, was never delivered, as he was sent immediately to the Gulag. But his written speech moved the entire world. He based his entire thoughts on Dostoevsky's quote, "Art and beauty will save this world." Now, it's obvious by her good works, enumerated beautifully here tonight, that our 2024 Wendt Award recipient also espouses Dostoevsky's philosophy that art and beauty will save the world indeed. And our lives, those of us who love Everett, are all enriched because she has made this belief a part of her entire life's work. Because she understands that what we know and remember of all great civilizations of the past is revealed mostly through its art, she works tirelessly to promote, to produce, and preserve the artistic endeavors of our time as an investment in our future. We've remembered tonight that she has put her resources where her heart is by making sure our next generations dance, sing, and experience excellent art, both as participants and indeed as spectators. She has patronized, mentored, encouraged, and supported those who create our artistic treasures. She has helped to build facilities and spaces where art is born and where everyone has the access to create art of their own. She has initiated, in most cases I've witnessed, fought for policies and funding which allow art to exist, flourish, and thus edify us all. In truth, those of you who call Everett home, look around, will you? Everything you love, have civic pride over, get a few chills over, recognize as beautiful in your built environment, moments that have delighted your children and have ignited sparks of their own creativity and imagination, everything that contributes to the aspirations of this city to be memorable, livable, and world-class, all of this, in some part, happened at the hand of our honoree. For nearly 3 decades, I have witnessed this dedication in action, and I'm indeed honored to introduce the ultimately worthy 2024 recipient of the Wendt Award of Excellence, Brenda Stonecipher.
Some notes so I don't forget to thank anyone. Well, first of all, thank you, Mayor Franklin. Thank you for continuing this great tradition of honoring arts in our community. And Laney, thank you very much for your very kind words. You're a dear friend, and I appreciate that. Good evening, everyone else. Thank you for being here. What a wonderful show. Let's give it up for all these performers that have entertained us. I am incredibly honored and have to admit somewhat surprised to be standing here to receive the Richard and Nancy Wendt Award of Excellence. When I think of all the past recipients, incredible artists, educators, advocates who have received this honor, I am very humbled and deeply grateful to be included in this company. My parents are here tonight, and I want to take a moment to thank them for making sure that we were exposed to the arts as children. I remember outings to see the Nutcracker at Pacific Northwest Ballet, as well as attending local arts events, and I'm sure my brother and I weren't always appreciative. I can remember an early disappointment in seeing the production at Everett Community College, I believe, of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I was raised in the cartoon culture, so I was crushed to discover that Snoopy was not any kind of Snoopy that I expected to see. He wasn't in a mascot costume, and he wasn't animated, just a human with ears pinned to his head. But those early experiences really planted the seed in me that grew into a lifelong respect for the arts and the people who create them. It was my volunteer work in the arts community where you saw in the video I encountered far too much apathy from the leadership and the elected officials at the time that led me to run for office. I decided that we needed different types of leaders that understood what was good for our community. And during that first campaign, a prominent Politico was giving me some great advice and said, you know, don't talk about the arts or parks. I mean, those things are kind of like girl things, and you don't want to be like seen as a girl. You want to be taken seriously. Anyone who knows me knows that I, of course, ignored that advice. And as a council member, I'm very proud of all the work that we did. And even though I received this award, as everyone knows, you do need 4 votes. So there were 3 other people on the side of everything that good that happened here, and a million other people behind the scenes in the city and in the community. I have to say that the fact that we're even gathered here tonight with a mayor who values the arts and people who are sitting here and appreciate them is really a testament to all the progress we've made over the past 30 years that I've been involved in the arts in our community. And I'm someone whose artistic talents are kind of limited to the art of the spreadsheet. I've long accepted that my gifts lie elsewhere. My great high school, Cascade High School art teacher, Mr. Byer, once told me very kindly that my strength was in appreciation. And he was right. I tried to pass that appreciation on to my own children, and my dear husband Tom, who's in the audience here, he is a pianist. He plays with great enthusiasm, although maybe not always precision. So it's safe to say that our kids didn't get talented genes. But still, together, we encourage them to try everything: dance, acting, improvisation, visual arts, music. Let's say there was a long and memorable period of our time when a French horn was a daily part of our lives. Not great. So we didn't raise fine artists, that's for sure, but we did raise 2 people who understand the value of supporting the arts and who live their own types of creative lives. Art can be manifest in many different ways. It's not just on a canvas, it's not just in a performance, but it can be part of your life. And I am really proud to say that my family, we understand that and try to live our lives in the creative way that we can. I take that as a win. The honor of being here tonight is even greater because I stand alongside this year's Mayor's Arts Awards recipients, and their work is so inspiring, bold, and vital to the cultural soul of our city. You think of, if you've ever tried any form of art, you know how hard it is to do that well. I've tried it all and know that I can't. So I stand in awe of all of your talents, and it's people like you who make Everett kind of a cultural beacon. And we are, I think, a city that punches well above its weight in terms of the arts. So I'd like to thank the Cultural Arts Commission, the Wendt family, and everyone who continues to champion the arts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Richard and Nancy Wendt gave our community an extraordinary gift, the example of a life devoted to lifting others through creativity. And I know that the people in this room understand this, but let's keep building on that legacy as we move forward together in our community. Thank you.
Our last performance of the night. The Dance School Performance Group is under the direction of Emmy Fansler-Bakari and assisted by Abigail Knockreiner. Yes, woo! The Dance School is a community-funded 501c3 nonprofit organization that believes anyone can dance. TDS is constantly implementing new ways to make dance accessible and inclusive to all. Yes, yes. This includes increasing outreach and partnership efforts, offering financial need and talent-based scholarships, and recently acquiring the ground floor level of their historic building to double their class offerings and make their programs wheelchair accessible. Yeah. Artistic director and choreographer Emmy Fansler-Bakari says, with renovation and renewal on our minds, rebuild beautifully honors our history while dreaming of what the future can be when we work together towards a shared vision. A creative and collaborative safe space, yes, where every person feels not only welcome, but wanted, embraced, supported, and celebrated. This dance is in part inspired by the chorus of a song I wrote with my dad, Robert Fansler, in 2019 called The Generous Magpie. Take these broken wings and think to linger. Leave them scattered in the paths on which you trod. There is beauty in arranging all your pieces one by one to build a shelter for the weary and the lost. Now here with a special dance performance, please welcome the Dance School. I get the whole stage to myself now. Please give our performances one big round of applause. And please give all of our award recipients tonight another big round of applause. Congratulations to all of our recipients tonight. Thank you to all of you for attending. I wish the weather was a lot better, but thank you for being here tonight, and we will see you next year. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.